we welcome in Nets president Rod Thorn from his home in Rye, New York, one of the seriously legendary front office figures in the history of sports. And Rod, I want to first ask you about some of the moves that you've made with the New Jersey Nets in terms of clearing this cap space. And this is just recent moves. Keon Dooling, you're letting him go. Also, the Egon Leon trade to the Washington Wizards. And also, Chris Humphries has opted in. And you may be negotiating a buyout there as well. Update us on those, Rod, and also how much cap space y'all are going to have.
Well, thank you, Rick. Right now we have $30 million in cap space. We are, attempting to get 2 or 3 more million. We'll have to see if we're going to be successful or not. But, as you guys were talking about before, this is unprecedented, I know, in basketball. Not only to have so many top-flight players potentially becoming free agents at midnight tonight, but also to have so many teams that are far enough under the cap to make serious bids. The confluence of the two we've never had before.
Rod, old familiar voice, Lawrence Frank, former mascot.
Coach, how you doing?
Great, former mascot of the New Jersey Nets. And when Rick said legendary, the reason why Rod is legendary, it's not that he drafted Michael Jordan. It's not that he traded for Jason Kidd. It's because he finally figured out, get rid of Lawrence Frank.
But hey guys, you know that when Lawrence left the Nets, my wife wouldn't speak to me for 2 months.
There you go. That wasn't because of me. Don't blame me. Hey, Rod, with your experience, what are usually the critical factors for a free agent if they do decide to leave their team to go to another team?
Lawrence, I think there are several. I think, firstly, the team. I think, secondly, it could be the city. I think, thirdly, it could be the ownership. I think, in some cases, it could be the coach. And I also think, in a few cases, it could be that they specifically want to play with ex-player that is on a team or ex-player that may be on a team.
Rod, when the Nets go into a room in the next 48 hours or they pick up the phone, what are the selling points going to be? What are you going to say to whoever you're talking to? I know you can't talk specific players, but what do you say about, hey, this is why you should be a New Jersey Net?
Well, the selling points, I think, for us, Dave, are several. I think, firstly, we do have some pieces. In place. If you look at what we have as far as the youth of what we have and as far as, the potential of several of our players, I think we have that to sell. I think we have the potential of going to Brooklyn to sell. Brooklyn's one of the 4 or 5 biggest cities in this country. Once the Nets go to Brooklyn, they should be able to be competitive with anybody. I think we have our new owner to sell. I mean, everybody is fascinated by Mikhail Prokhorov. Everybody wants to meet him. We have an owner who not only has a lot of money, but he also has made it very clear that he wants to, have a top-flight team. The history of him, when he owned CSKA Moscow, they had the best team in Europe several times. They were competitive every year, and he made it very, very clear that his number one priority is to win championships, is to be a very, very good team. So I think we have that to sell. I think we have to sell that, that we are going to go after the best players. And fortunately or unfortunately, right, Lawrence, for us, we are in a position with where we are cap-wise. We, bit a heck of a bullet last year in order to get here. But we are in a position to compete with anybody else.
Hey, Rod, you've been around the league a long time, and, of course, as a player. When you're in this situation, do you think players should look for their future, or should they look to take care of the franchise?
Oh, my goodness, Dennis, that's a tough one because, as you know, almost all players, you having played, you build up an affinity for a team. When you play for a team for a while and you've gone to war with guys on your team, there's a bond that's built up. So I would never say that doesn't play a role. I think in anybody who's a free agent, and I think almost everybody would say that. You know, these star players have been treated very well. I don't care where they are. And the home team has a built-in advantage in that they can give a 6th year. So in essence, they can make more money. Conversely, as you saw Kevin Garnett quoted several times this year, that had he had it to do over again, he doesn't know if he would have stayed where he was for so many years and not had the opportunity to play on the biggest stage, except very occasionally. So it's back and forth. I'm sure that, you know, all these potential free agents have an affinity for where they are, and they will certainly give, you know, a lot of thought about whether they should stay or not. But, you know, sometimes there are other circumstances, and, you know, it's just going to be incredible what's getting ready to happen here in the next week or so.
And, Rod, you are in a peculiar situation right now. You know, the news is out. You've resigned as president of the New Jersey Nets, but you're not retiring. You've been quick to say that. And basically, you're kind of hanging on here to help the Nets through the beginning of this free agent process. So if one of these big names, you're sitting across the table from them, you know, recruiting them for the New Jersey Nets, and they ask you, you know, about that peculiar situation, what would you say to them?
Well, what I would say to them, and I'm sure that, you know, that question may get asked, you know, over the next several days, what I would say is the following, that, you know, I've been around a long time. I've been with the Nets for 10 years, and sometimes it's just time to go, you know, for an individual. And that, to me, is, you know, my gut instinct is that, you know, it's this time for me to go. You know, there's been a lot of great times here, some not so good, but it's this time for me to go. But what I would say to a free agent, look at our owner, look at our new coach, look at what we have, you know, what we're putting together here as a team. It doesn't really make that much difference about, you know, what a GM does or what a president of a team does. It's much more, I think, in any player's eyes, the other things that we talked about earlier rather than that. And here I am. I mean, I don't have to be here. My contract runs out today. But here I am. Whenever we sit down with people, I'm going to be trying to sell the New Jersey Nets. They have asked me to help them, and obviously I think it's the right thing to do because they don't have anybody else in place right now. And I'll guarantee you that if you talk to anybody when it comes to, and you ask them about what transpired and they tell you, and they'll probably tell you, you know, sort of surreptitiously, they will say that Rod Thorn made a heck of a pitch.
Well, Rod, I'll tell you this. If I was Mikhail Prokhorov on July 15th, I would lock the doors and not let you leave because there's no one better than Rod Thorn.
Good stuff.
I agree. Well said. We all agree with Coach Frank on that, Rod. Thank you for taking the time. Enjoy this process. Have fun. You're going to be wooing a lot of guys. You're going to be whining and dining and traveling all about. Enjoy it, and we'll talk to you very, very soon.
Hey, thanks a lot, Rick. I appreciate it, and I know you guys are going to have a lot of fun every day.
No question, Rod. Thank you very much.